Friend, Shabbat Shalom to everyone. I'm going to give you the scorecard. Okay, here's the deal. Becky had strep throat this week. I mean, I'm just giving you the facts. So when that happened, we, of course, decided to try to find someone who could help us with worship tonight. And we went through the list, and no one was available. So then we had this beautiful idea of, okay, so maybe Nathan could come, and he would sing, he would play, and Jane would do it with me. Of course, Jane has had pneumonia, and she's not going to sing. So then Everly got sick. So I'm giving Rabbi. I'm giving the casualties. If you would sit down, you will hear you've missed most of them. I'm going through the casualties of the New Reform Temple. Okay, so Becky calls me and says, how important it is for Nathan to come. I said, what do you want me to respond to? So this is what I said. I gave a very rabbinic answer. I said, there is a principle, pikuach nefesh, that the overriding mitzvah is to save a life. So we could work at it two ways. Well, if Nathan stays home, he is doing pikuach nefesh because he's helping his family. He's not doing it because then I am threatened because I have to do the services. So it's not the pikuach nefesh isn't working for me. If he came, he would be performing pikuach nefesh for me, but he wouldn't be performing pikuach nefesh for his family. Guess who won? So there was a very profound theological issue that was resolved, and I lost. And you lost. But I just wanted to share with you, what's happening here. So, something, we'll get through. Okay? Do we want Jonathan up here? Here's the problem with Jonathan coming up here. Okay. I mean, what is this? I mean, it's not a quiz show. Okay, Jonathan. Okay, so Rabbi Rudnick. Okay, so here's the deal with Rabbi Rudnick. I'm going on 4 weeks of I'm calling it a mini sabbatical before I come for my return visit to the New Reform Temple, my interim existence. And so Rabbi Rudnick is very graciously going to lead services the first week I'm away, and then Rabbi White is going to be doing the other weeks. So that's going to be Rabbi Rudnick's role. Now, Rabbi Rudnick is a great davener. But does he want to enter this? He's living in many worlds. I mean, he's a man who obviously is theologically conflicted. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of issues. He's struggling with a lot of issues. He loves Reform Judaism, and he's going to get a picture of Isaac Mayer Wise and put it up in his house. And yet he's a conservative rabbi who loves that too. I've given up trying to live in two worlds. He's trying to live in those two worlds. So you can certainly come up, or you can just be out there supporting me as I try to go through. Is that okay?
With your permission, we'll do pikuach nefesh from here.
The rabbinic wisdom that's being generated is scaring me. Okay, so we're going to start our service. So I'm glad everyone's here. That's all I can say. Shabbat. Something. There's one thing that I've learned when my mentor, Rabbi Mark Lobo, Alav Shalom, he taught me most things I know about being a rabbi, and whatever I don't do well is not his fault. It's my fault. But in any case, so he had this idea. Everyone gets nervous around the high holidays. The rabbis get nervous. I don't get nervous. I just get really stressed. So what he said is, Alan, we can't break it. We can't break it. It's been around a long time, and whatever we do to it, it's so much stronger than we are. And Shabbat is the same way. Whatever I do up here, I can't break it. Okay? So, and I mean that very positively. Our tradition will carry us through. Okay? It's a lot stronger than any of us. So let's start on page 6 as we with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Stephen, would you honor us with lighting the Shabbat candles? Sure. Okay, page 7.
Come, let us welcome Shabbat. May its radiance warm our hearts as we kindle these tapers.
Light is a symbol of God's presence in our lives. The Eternal One is our light and our salvation.
Light is the symbol of the holiness within each of us. The human spirit is the light of God.
Light is a symbol of the Torah. The commandment is a lamp and the Torah is a light.
Light is the symbol of Israel's mission, as it is written, I have made you a covenant people to serve as a light to the nations.
Therefore, in the spirit of our ancient tradition that hallows unites Israel in all lands and all ages, we kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Baruch atah
Adonai Eloheinu Kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We praise our eternal God, creator of the universe, who hallows our lives through laws and ethical teachings. We are mindful of these timeless values as we kindle the lights of Shabbat.
May God bless us with Shabbat joy. May God bless us with Shabbat holiness. May God bless us with Shabbat peace. Amen.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you. Friends, on page 56, let me begin at the top of the page. Creator of the universe, we have come together on this Shabbat to affirm your presence in our lives and to offer our prayers of thanksgiving. The week of toil has ended, the time of rest has come. You have given us the blessing of labor so that our work we may fashion things of use and beauty. May the fruits of our labors be acceptable to you. Together, may each new Shabbat find us going from strength to strength so that through your guiding spirit we may aspire to your ever-worthy endeavors. Make us conscious of our obligations and of the opportunities for service that you have put within our reach. Help us to use our blessings and our talents for the benefit of others, so that the lives of many may be better through the work of our hands. Let us turn to page 59 and let us rise for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMivorach. Baruch Adonai Mivorach Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated, and we are going to join together at the top of page 60. Even though it isn't italicized, we can make a change because we are the new Reformed Temple. O God, how can we know you? Where can we find you? You are as close to us as breathing, and yet are farther than the most distant star. You are mysterious as the vast solitudes of the night, and yet are as familiar to us as the light of the sun. Even to Moses you have said, you cannot see my countenance, but I will...
All my goodness pass before you. Thus does your goodness pass before us in the realm of nature and the varied experiences
of our lives. Together on page 61, when justice burns like flaming fire within us, when love evokes willing sacrifice from us, when to the last full measure of selfless devotion, we proclaim our belief in the ultimate triumph of truth and righteousness, we are truly doing your will. You live in our hearts even as you pervade our world. Through righteous actions, we offer a living testimony to your presence. I made an observation to Jane before I came over tonight. I said, I'm leading services. And so an interesting thing is the melodies that are programmed in me are not the melodies from the New Reformed Temple. And it's amazing. I'm here every week, and I am participating, and most of the music I've jointly selected with the Blisses. But then when my default melodies are not the New Reformed Temple. So I'm about to transcend my default melodies. And I'm going to enter, after 13 years, the New Reformed Temple. Okay? Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Afta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shokbeinu uvkumenu nahasiya b'chukecha v'nismak b'divrei torotecha u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki heim chayenu v'yorech yameinu uvahem nege yomam belayla, nege yomam belayla. You live in our hearts even as you pervade our world. Through the righteous actions, we offer living testimony to your presence. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael, v'chol ha'amim. We continue with the Shema. Now I have to get in. I'm gonna get into it. Don't interrupt me. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Machuto, Le'olam, Le'olam Va'ed. You shall love the eternal God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be upon your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, when you rise up, you shall bind them for sign upon your hand, and they shall be a symbol before your eyes. You shall write them on the doorpost of your house and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all my commandments, and be holy, holy to your God. I had the right idea. I don't think I hit all the notes. Okay, but that's okay. Okay, it was good, A for effort. Okay, so responsively on page 65, I will give the review as we go on. It will not be a review at the end of services. It will be a constant review of what's happening in the moment. It'll be, I mean, if people were texting, they could do that. Maybe people are texting and we don't even know it. Okay, so we read responsively on page 65. All this we hold to be true and sure we have only one God, and there is none else.
May the righteous of all nations rejoice in God's love and exult in God's justice.
Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks.
Let nation not lift up a sword against nation, nor learn war anymore.
You shall not hate your brother or your sister in your heart.
The stranger that sojourns with you shall be accepted as your equal, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor? Asked God.
The Eternal One defends the poor and upholds the rights of the needy.
Lie, 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 la, lie, la, 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 lie, 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 la, 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 lie, lie, la, lie, la, lie, 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 la, la, lie, lie, la, lie, lie, la, 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 lie. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha ne'edar ba'kodesh, norah tehilot osef eleh, norah tehilot osef eleh. Malchutecha ra'u v'anecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe, ze eli anu v'amru, ze eli anu v'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. In the middle of page 66, Vishamru v'nei Yisroel et ha-Shabbat, Lasot et ha-Shabbat lidoratam berit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisroel et ha-Shabbat, Lasot et ha-Shabbat lidoratam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisroel, oti liolam. Vishamru v'nei Yisroel et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat lidoratam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim v'et ha'aretz. Vishamru v'nei Yisroel et ha-Shabbat, Lasot et ha-Shabbat lidoratam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Vishamru v'nei Yisroel et ha-Shabbat. Lasot et ha-Shabbat lidoratam berit olam. Let us join together on page 68 at the top of the page. Grant, O God, that we may lie down in peace and that we may rise up again to life. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with wise counsel. Be as a shield about us, fortifying us against hatred and war, against pestilence and sorrow. Curb within us the inclination to do evil and enfold us with the embrace of your love. Guide our going out and coming into life and peace from this time forth and forever. We praise you, God, for you shelter us and all who dwell on earth. Ushmor tzeitenu ovenu l'chaim l'shalom yatavi adolam uvros aleinu sukat shalomecha baruch atah Adonai aparei sukat shalom aleinu v'kol amo Yisrael v'yal kol ha'amim. We continue on page 69 as we rise for the Amidah. Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi yagi tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagado, Hagibor v'Hanora, Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Gula L'bnei V'nehem, L'man Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'ezrat Sarah. You may be seated, and let us join together on the top of page 70. Infinite is your power, O God. Great is your gift of life. In loving kindness, you sustain the world. Through the endless flow of your blessings, you preserve all of creation. You uphold the falling and heal the sick, free the captive and keep faith with your people in death as in life. Who is like you, author of life and death? We praise you, God, the source of eternal life. We continue on the top of page 71. Source of all knowledge and wisdom, you have endowed us with reason and understanding. We pray for the strength of your truth, for the insight into your ways, and for the strength to banish from our hearts every unworthy desire. Forgive us for our transgressions and pardon our failings. May those who have lost their way come to know your love, and that they may turn to you with newness of heart. Together, our God and God of our mothers and fathers, grant that our worship on this Shabbat may be acceptable to you. Sanctify us through your precepts that we may share in the blessings of the Torah. Help us to be satisfied with the gifts of your goodness and grateful for all that you bestow. Purify our hearts that we may serve you in truth. May we preserve Shabbat as our people's heritage from generation to generation, that it will ever bring rest and joy, peace and comfort to our lives. We praise the eternal God who sanctifies Shabbat. 72, Creator of all the world, you have blessed us with noble powers. Teach us to make wise use of them. You have called us to be your partners in a never-ending work of creation. We thank you for the capacity to choose the path devoted to your service and dedicated to the well-being of those around us. Together on the top of page 73, may all people find their way and help establish peace in our world. Let them cultivate that goodwill which may bring enduring peace. Let all nations realize that the triumph of war turned to ashes, that justice and right are better than conquest and aggression. May they come to see that it is not by might and it's not by power, but by your Spirit that life prevails. Bless our land with plenty and our nation with peace. May righteousness abide with us and virtue bring us happiness. Blessed is our eternal God who hearkens to prayer. Shalom Rav Yisroel Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisroel Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon lecho hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lecho hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisroel Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisroel Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha livarech et amcha Yisroel b'chol ed uv'chol sha'ah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisroel amcha tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisroel amcha tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. Baruch atah Adonai oseh hashalom. We praise the eternal God who blesses our people Israel and all people with the love of peace. Let's continue with some moments of private devotion. Friends, let's continue on page 10, and let me begin at the top of the page. Prayer invites God's presence to lift our spirits. It allows the blessing and gift of hope to prevail in our lives. Prayer might not bring water to the parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city, but prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. Together, we pray for all people who are at this hour are in sickness and want, or in distress of body or spirit. We name in our hearts those who are near to us and whose pain we feel pain. Let them know your help and feel your presence, realizing that they are not alone. Friends, as is our custom, if you'd like to share a name of a person that you are thinking of or praying for or mindful of this evening, I'd ask you to do so. You can go around the congregation. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Brad Londy and Ward Katz. We continue with the Mishaberach. Mishaberach avotenu mikor habracha limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mehor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Friends, Kansas City is particularly proud of its connection with President Harry Truman. And his name is everywhere in our community, and we are proud of the Truman Library. And this humble man arose within local politics to true greatness. And on May 8th, 1953, a group of his friends and admirers celebrated his 69th birthday, and eventually this kind of private gathering became a public event a year after he's died, and with the establishment of the Harry S. Truman Good Neighbor Award Foundation. This foundation does many things, but among them is first to provide scholarships to students for our local universities, and the scholarships are given to students who are interested in public service. It recognizes foreign students that come to our country to find out about our great country. Third, it honors a distinguished member of the armed forces. And fourth, it gives a Good Neighbor Award to distinguish public figures who represent Truman's values. And over the years, the award winners have been people, I mean, the list is incredible, from Senator John McCain, Senator Claire McCaskill, Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, Walter Cronkite, President Bill Clinton, President Gerald Ford, and many, many others. And each of these distinguished Americans offer words of wisdom and inspiration. And this past week, the award given to the Good Neighbor Award was given to Bob Woodward, one of the most consequential journalists of our time, and he was given the award, and he spoke very beautifully. Now, and this is not to be nice to Bobby Epstein, because I don't like to do that, but we have a very important connection to this because of Bobby Epstein and his family, who are supporters of the foundation, and the family has created a special scholarship fund. And over the years, Bobby has been very gracious to invite me to be at one of his tables, and it's really an honor to be there, Bobby. And we should be proud of Bobby's support for this foundation in the luncheon. And I say that with great transparency and sincerity. Now, this event is filled with a lot of patriotism, a love of our country, and an affirmation of what President Truman did for our great country. And as I was taking it all in, I realized that there was a profound ethical issue that hovered over the event and that I was struggling with. And I don't know what's going on in other people's brains. I hardly know what's going on in my brain half the time, but this is what I was struggling with, and this was my observation. First, one of the underwriters of the event is Honeywell Federal Manufacturing and Technologies, FM&T, which is a management and operations contractor that works for the National Nuclear Security Administration. FM&T manages the Kansas City National Security Campus, which employs over 7,000 people and produces 80% of the non-nuclear components of the United States nuclear stockpile. Kansas City is central to creating nuclear weapons. It works this place, as there was an interesting film about it, and I think the head of the program was one of the presenters. It works around the clock to create bombs that could destroy the world. And then an incredible soldier was honored. I mean, if you want, if we want a soldier to be a soldier, this was the man, an incredible man. I won't read you his biography, it's amazing. Colonel Keith Butler was an Air Force pilot and officer. He was incredibly articulate. He spoke beautifully. I mean, every year they honor another serviceman that's amazing, but he was particularly amazing to me because he was so incredibly articulate. He spoke beautifully about the students in public service. He gave a message about President Harry Truman. I pray all of our military is of his caliber. But what does Colonel Butler actually do? He is the commander of the 509 Bomb Wing of Whiteman Air Force Base in Sedalia. And he is responsible for the combat readiness of the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber fleet. Now, here is an interesting fact. What is that? What is one of the most important, significant roles of the B-2 bomber is to deliver nuclear weapons. It's part of the triad that is the foundation of our nuclear deterrent. And Colonel Butler stated that the 509 Bomb Wing is directly linked to the Enola Gay that dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. And it was something that this whole bomber group took great pride in. And as you know, these B-2 bombers are the most complicated things in the whole world. And this man is an instructor of how people can fly the B-2 bomber. I mean, I'm thinking, what is going on in this man's brain? I mean, he was an incredible figure. I mean, incredibly impressive. Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to greet him individually, but it just seemed like an incredible person. And one of the most significant decisions, as you know, of President Truman was his decision to use the atomic bomb, which led to the Japanese surrender. And I'm sitting at this incredibly wonderful luncheon honoring President Truman, honoring people of such great service like Colonel Butler, looking at Bob Woodward, who supposedly, and it was a reference made, that he was in the Navy for many years, and somehow he was connected to our nuclear weapons. I didn't quite get it, but that was the connection. And of course, I was very proud of Bobby Epstein, our member, who was supporting this event. And you know me, what the next thought was. I panicked. I'm seriously. I don't know if I'm sure no one knew it, but I was panicking. Because we have become accepting of the nuclear nightmare. That is our reality. We're just sitting here and we're accepting it. We've accepted it. Our strategic posture is based on mutually assured destruction. In other words, you won't attack me because I will attack you, and both of us would be destroyed, and of course, life would end on earth. That's our military posture. And as a rabbi, and as a Jew, and as a citizen, as a member of the human race, I think that there is an imperative to deliberate about the nuclear assumptions under which we live. Why is it not that the first question posed to Trump and Biden at their debate will not be about this issue? I mean, it'll be about something stupid. It's almost as if they'll come up with a list of the 10 most stupid questions I can ask, and I'll ask it one after the other, like, President Trump, President Biden, we're sitting on nuclear weapons that could destroy the world. Does that worry you? That'd be a question I'd ask. I mean, come on. And look, here's the deal. I started doing research. You know how many nuclear warheads there are in the world? This is after arms control. 12,512. And the Russians have 5,889. And the United States has 5,244. And China has 410. I'll give you the list since I researched it. France has 290. United Kingdom has 225. Pakistan, has 170. India has 164. Let's make sure Pakistan, India, I don't even have to talk about that. Israel has 90, even though they don't admit to having any. And North Korea has 20. A B-2 bomber, a bomb that a B-2 bomber, one of them, would carry on a nuclear strike against Russia is 1,000 times more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb. We are involved as a nation in a $300 billion upgrade of our nuclear forces. $300 billion. Putin has threatened to use nuclear weapons. Iran is close to a nuclear weapon. I have no idea why President Trump got out of the nuclear deal. I don't get it. I don't get the Israelis. It was better than no deal. North Korea has them. And to keep their poor country from collapsing, it's quite plausible that Kim Jong-un would sell a weapon for hard cash. There's a right-wing lunatics in Israel that were even too crazy for Netanyahu, who said, let's nuke Gaza. This is insanity. Now, we all revere President Truman, but in all due respect to President Truman, his use of nuclear weapons is certainly not without moral implications. And I'm not saying he did the wrong thing. I'm not at all. But let me tell you, it's a quite personal issue for me. My father was a World War II veteran. He was in the European theater. He was a first lieutenant in the Army Air Corps. And he said to me once, because I was a smart aleck kid, and so I could say anything, usually without any forethought. And so we were talking about nuclear weapons, whatever. He said, look, if the bomb, and my father was the most gentle soul in the whole world, if the bomb had not been dropped, he would have been shipped to the Pacific, and he most probably would have been one of the million American soldiers who would have died invading Japan. But we read about Truman, and it distresses me that he didn't distress him so much. Hiroshima and Nagasaki did have military significance, but the atomic bomb killed 90,000 to 146,000 people in Hiroshima and 60 to 80,000 people in Nagasaki. And Truman said he did not have any doubt about the wisdom of the decision, unlike those he pictured as eggheads or Monday morning quarterbacks. We know how he spoke, so he knew how to speak. He called it the most terrible decision that any man in the history of the world had to make, but I'd do it again, and I would not hesitate. And on one occasion, asked how long it took him to decide to use the new device, he simply snapped his fingers. And when the scientific director of the bomb project in Los Alamos, Robert Oppenheimer, and it's depicted in the movie, but it's a true event, he revealed during a private meeting with the president shortly after the war that he feared he had blood on my hands, referring to Oppenheimer. Truman, by varying accounts, either offered to pass him a handkerchief or simply told him to quit worrying. The decision was his. And after he left, Truman complained to a top advisor that the father of the atomic bomb was a crybaby scientist. Truman had no qualms. He wasn't tormented by it. That's not sitting well with me. And that doesn't take away anything from the greatness of President Truman. But somehow, when I read that, that doesn't sit well with me. So let me wear my rabbi's hat for a moment. Are nuclear weapons morally acceptable in Jewish tradition? A great argument. There's a wonderful book I have called Omnicide, what a terrible name, which talks about all the Jewish, a very extensive discussion of all the ethical issues in terms of Judaism in nuclear weapons. And Rabbi Emanuel Jakubowicz, who later became the chief rabbi of the British Empire, of the British Commonwealth, stated, Jewish military ethics is built on the notion of self-defense. However, he argued that one cannot invoke such a claim if such a defensive war would annihilate both sides, if not the entire human race. How can nuclear weapons be ethical if it would destroy the world? So where does this leave us? So here are the questions that I'm having. And again, these are questions, and it's because I'm in a panic. And I hope other people would be in a panic too. Thank goodness I can never run for public office. What's your great quality, Alan? I'm always panicked. That'd be a good campaign slogan. Thank goodness a rabbi not running for anything. Okay, so where does this leave us? Should a Jew take a job at Honeywell plant? That's a good question. Should a Jew fly a B-2 bomber? Israel has nuclear weapons, thanks to Shimon Peres for this. Would it ever be moral to use them? And then you start doing research. At the beginning of the 1973 Yom Kippur War, Moshe Dayan broached the possibility of employing of nuclear response because Israel was going to lose the war until Golda Meir said no. And how come this is not a central discussion among Jews? So I started doing research. I don't like national Jewish organizations. I know some of you have heard this. I think it's a lot about posturing, raising money, and having lunch. Okay, so here's the deal. Okay, it is. I don't want to get started on that. But okay, so I said, okay, I'm going to go to the Conference of Presidents of major American Jewish organizations. That's where all the people who like to have lunch are having lunch together. Okay, so here's the question. What are their agenda items? I went through every one of them, and it's a very interesting organization. Not one discussion about nuclear proliferation. Then I went, I went to the Religious Action Center of the Reform Movement, something we as Reformed Jews should be very proud of. I said, okay, what are the topics that they're concerned about? And some of them, I don't have the same concern as they do, but that's another issue. Not one discussion of nuclear proliferation. This is not an issue on their agenda. The use of nuclear weapons would most probably lead to the destruction of all life on Earth, which is called omnicide. The Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons opened for signature at the United Nations on New York on the 20th of September 2017 and entered into force on the 22nd of January 2021. There are 93 signatories, and of course, the US, China, and Russia never signed it. Oseh shalom bimromav, he who makes peace in his heights. Hu ya'aseh shalom, may he make peace. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, upon us and upon all Israel. V'yamru amen, let it be so. Is it an empty platitude that we should stop chanting, or should we take it seriously? You tell me. Shabbat shalom. I've lost my prayer book. Bobby, see what you unleashed in me? I mean, see what you unleashed? It's scary, isn't it? Can I get the award next year and give that speech? No. Okay.
I'm not sure you draw a crowd.
We know I wouldn't draw a crowd. Okay. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it over our challah. Let's continue to page 368 and let us rise for the adoration. And I'm not going to sing it the way we do it here because I'm going to mess it up. Let us adore the ever-living God. We offer praise unto you who spread out the heavens and established the earth. Your glory is revealed in the heavens above, and your greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else. We bow our heads in reverence before the Eternal One, source of all life. V'anachnu korim u'mishtachamim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. You may be seated, and let's read together on page 369. May the time not be distant, O God, when you shall be worshipped throughout the earth, when unbelief shall disappear and error be no more. Fervently we pray that the day may come when all people shall be guided by your teachings. Corruption and evil shall give way to purity and goodness. Superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. Then all who dwell on earth shall know that to you alone every knee shall bend and every voice give praise. May all created in your image recognize that we are brothers and sisters, so that one in spirit and one in harmony we be forever united before you. Then shall your reign be established on earth, and the word of your ancient prophet be fulfilled. The eternal God will reign forever and ever. On that day the eternal shall be one, and God's name shall be one. Bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, u'shemo, u'shemo echad. In nature's ebb and flow, God's eternal law abides. When tears dim our vision and grief clouds our understanding, we often lose sight of God's plan, yet we know that both growth and decay, life and death, all reveal God's purpose. God, who is our support in the struggles of life, is also our hope in death. We have set the Eternal One before us and shall not despair, and in God's hands are the souls of all the living. And under God's protection we abide, and by God's love we are comforted. O life of our life, soul of our soul, cause your light to shine into our hearts and fill our spirits with abiding trust in you. At this time, we recall the yurt sites that are part of the permanent memory of our community. Ben Berkson, Eugene Brown, Bernard Birdman, Constance Weil Emery, Richard Epstein, Evelyn Freilich, Leslie Gibson, Stuart Levinson, Dorothy Lilia, Louis Manco, Dorothy Meyer, Samuel Montague, Dan Rosen, and Harriet Silverman. In solemn testimony to that broken faith that links the generations of the house of Israel one to another, we all rise and join together with the Mourner's Kaddish, page 375, continuing on to 376. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yamad divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yamechon u'v'chayedachol beit Yisrael, b'galav izman kari v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivarach li'olam omaya, yitbarak v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudashah b'rechu. Le'elam and kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechamata, damiran b'yama v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the one who causes peace to reign in the high heavens let peace descend on us, on all Israel and on all the world, and let us say amen. Please be seated. A few brief announcements. There is a Yom HaAtzmaut celebration that is sponsored by Jewish Experiences of the J and a lot of different organizations. I hope our name is on this. Yes, the New Reformed Temple. God, if it wasn't on there, I'd be unhappy. So Yom HaAtzmaut celebration, May 19th from 2 to 4 p.m., and it's going to be held at the J. No, it's been changed. It's been changed. It's at the JCC. Look at this. I am reporting the news. And no one else, and as I've said to you, a lot of things can go on in the Jewish community at one time. And this idea that, I've been dealing with that my whole rabbinical career, and that makes me crazy. So we're having Shabbat services, and B'nai Yehuda's having Shabbat services. Should we not have Shabbat services because they're having them? I don't get that. Okay, anyway. Okay, so, but something, I would check the website. There's so many different messages going on, but this is what I have. And Chris would give me what is best. The couple of other things, the Summer Splash by JFS, Thursday, May 30th from 4:30 to 6:30, and as part of that, we're collecting toilet paper, and there's a place to deposit it, and what else? We have a congregational meeting on Friday, May 30th. It'll be very quick, hopefully. people should come. I know they send in their proxy. You should come. I mean, congregational meetings should be where people actually congregate. That's not too complicated. And we are thankful for the flowers that were dedicated in memory of Eugene Brown by Susie Brown and Bob Thill, and in memory of Bernard Birdman by Barbara MacArthur. That's all I got. That's all I have. Well, we're going to join together for Kiddush Motzi out in the garden. And what are we going to end our service with? Tonight I have to make the decision. And, what should we do? Let's do Oseh Shalom. We need it. Let's believe it. Let's do it with some kavanah. Page 429. What melody are we doing? I was going to do a different melody than that you were going to do. What's your melody? Give me a melody. You're talking the words. You're not singing. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisroel, v'imru, amen. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisroel, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisroel. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisroel. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisroel. Shabbat shalom.